Hello people, this is Ryder here with a review of the Kamen Rider Geats. I literally just had the title. I'm going to go off of what I remember. The Four Aces and the Black Fox DX Cross Geats Raise Buckle. I got it wrong, it's just Four Aces and the Black Fox. But I also got it wrong that I said Gekijotai for the next video, because I filmed the intro for that one like almost a year ago. But anyways, this is our traditional premium Bandai movie villain item, to which the movie villain of the movie, gosh that was repetitive, the movie villain is Cross Geats, a black and blue repaint of Geats 9. So here we have Cross Geats right here we have the raised buckle. Again, I find it interesting when they decide to have the full name of Raised Buckle as opposed to Buckle, because, you know, Bujin Sword, for example, was just called the Bujin Sword Buckle. Powered Builder was just called the Powered Builder Buckle, and such. But anyways, here we have Cross Geats, and it's two Raised Buckle, and two formations of the Raised Buckle, like so. Black, or technically Purple Flame. Again, it's still part of the DGP, so I really like that consistency. This is the Bandai China release, so obviously we have Mandarin right here replacing the Japanese subtext. The contents, the QR code for the PDF file, and the back just tells you how to use it, because they just genuinely, I'm fine if they do this as opposed to just like a huge portrait and such. You know, makes it consistent with all the other DX stuff, but also, you know, makes it still feel in line with the retail stuff. Also, like, you know, I always give them that they tried with giving us a lot of pictures of Cross Geats, because technically it's only this picture that's been reused, but this is basically the picture they're going to keep reusing. And we got that. So, again, here we have the contents of the set. The Geats 9 raised buckle, technically, and the Geats Cross Geats. Did I just say Geats 9? I meant the Cross Geats raised buckle, and then the Cross Geats core ID. To which, I really like this one overall. It's kind of similar in vein with the Vice core ID, but it's more kind of similar to Huckabee and Lancer. Also, I want to apologize right away, because I realized this during editing. I knew I got the names wrong. This is Ben, this is John. But I want to say this is more in line with the Lancer's core ID, because of the blackness of how it shines through and such. I don't have Lancer on me, but I'm pretty sure it's not the same, because core IDs do a good job of not repeating themselves. And here we have the nice sharp metallic blue, like just dark blue we have for the Cross Geats symbol and such. Now, apparently, this is wrong. I think they actually got this wrong, because I think the final version from Details of Heroes, it's not supposed to have this triangle, or like the prop version doesn't have this triangle. So if there's enough demand, they're gonna just like what they're doing with Noggle's core ID, they'll probably put up a prop version out there. I mean, you can say it's kind of similar to Noggle's, but Noggle's at least has the opacity. Like, you know, there's at least, you can still at least see your hand through. Cross Geats, yeah, I guess you can too. So maybe it's similar to Nago, but anyways, here's Geats. I do appreciate that it is obviously it's different because Cross Geats is mainly Geats 9, but yeah. So here we have the Cross Geats raised buckle, to which it's kind of the same deal as the next two reviews just fell, which is actually not good. I forgot that was in there. The Boost Mark III buckle, because that's what this is. This portion's Mark 9, but this is Mark 3. That's what makes this one different. The entirety of this is Cross Geats, which makes it confusing, because then what is this portion then? Because that's why it's like, what do you call this? This is like Cross Geats A and Cross Geats B. Again, I think Details of Heroes will probably lay it out, or those design books. But yeah, it's basically just it's just Boost Mark III, but in a black and blue color scheme, to which I don't mind. I like it. This is a really cool color scheme. I really like the blue plastic. The blue clear plastic is nice. Still have a gripe about the fact this speedometer is barely present. Again, they didn't physically change the mold, which is kind of upsetting personally, especially because this is a movie item. But as you can see so far, they just added more paint at areas, so now this inside is now painted. The back, there's not really much. You can rev it. As you can see from here, this one's still 061. Because it does advertise, it still does Boost Mark III sounds. So obviously we split it up. And then, you know, again, you just continue revving it up like so. You flip this up for the Kitsune, or the Kuro Kitsune, to which, again, this is technically the only way we're going to be able to point out the details of this, but basically, like what I said before, all they really did with Cross Geats, which is not bad, is that they just added more paint in areas and such, as opposed to doing any remolds. So they added paint on the existing mold on areas that basically previously did not have paint, and then added more decals to other areas to spice it up and such. As you can tell and such. It's basically like a Soto figure where they have to deal with stickering up an existing figure like a Falchion Amazing Siren. You have to put on stickers on areas, on existing places, but have no direction to place them because those decals don't have an existing place. So yeah, not bad. It definitely makes it stand out, and honestly just shows how kind of plain Geats 9 was, or Boost Mark 3 was. Actually, we'll keep that separate. Because again, here we have this area, or this side of the buckle, to which again, we just push this in, it activates the same way. Track here is still 075. The only difference is that because, again, Gombarizing no longer exists, so they got rid of the QR code. So, that's really it. If we flip the foot, oh, actually I shouldn't have done that. If we flip the foot, obviously we have it opened up and such. Again, they painted the inside here. You can still push back. I know this is more of a comparison and not talking about this thing individually, but it's like, again, there's nothing remolded. So, I'm just gonna do a paint comparison. again, they just added more lines and these dotted lines and such in the inside. Because I thought what they meant is that they painted these little indents here, but no, they basically just added decals around the edges and such. But again, it does give it its own individual look as opposed to what Geats 9 has and such. It makes it look more technological and such. But here we'll just remove this, and we can press this, because that's all we're going to get. And then when we clip them together like so, again, it works the same. You align the clips like so. This clip here will press this button. So obviously, because this one doesn't have two modes, the insertion sound or the combined sound is actually just voiceless and such. And then I shouldn't have done that, because I could have just done that through here. And again, it's kind of neat to have that sound without what's falling up. So let's get to that. So obviously we insert the core ID. As you can see, the LED does go shine through and such. And to transform to cross Geats, it's actually different immediately from Geats 9 because we actually want to split it right away. And then we get this ominous standby, and then we want to insert both sides seamlessly. So there we get the announcement, then we get the standby, and at this point we want to transform the same way as Geats 9, so we want to revolve on and immediately hit the lever back. So obviously, there's the transformation for Cross Geats, which is in similar vein towards Geats 9, but now in a more darker rendition with are those violins? I don't know, but I want to say like a more darker orchestral version of the transformation, which I think is pretty neat. Obviously, the tracks are the exact same as Boost Mark 3 and then the Boost Mark 9 units. So obviously when you have these two tracks together, it's going to emit a red LED, which I think does flow in well. It would have been cooler if it was a purple LED. But other than that, again, there's not too much to talk about the entire silhouette because we've already seen it. It's just now in a different color scheme and such. But I'll just say, because of this being in black, it does make an imposing silhouette for sure, because it just makes this thing definitely looks like all in one now. And again, the blue is like really sleek and such, and obviously this still works the same and such. But anyways, we have our two standard finishers. Obviously our first one by pushing this back. So there's the strike, and then obviously we have our boost time. Oh, we'll wait for the LEDs. So there's our new darkness rendition of the boost time. So there we have the eagle screech, and then the finisher and such. And then we will show this off. Because obviously, this thing, obviously, because it's just the same exact thing, if we were to just transform into this form and work properly. I'm surprised the transformation actually worked seamlessly twice. Like, that's actually pretty good. Obviously, you can do this still. You can do that. Obviously, you can press this back twice in the transformation. Obviously, I don't advise you forcing this up, but it's just, I don't want to deal with revolving on. Obviously, these sounds are still remaining the same. Then and that is basically it with this. Just remove this, put this in, and then slide it out. So this is the only exception I will show, because technically XGeats has his own version of the Geats Buster. I think it's just called the XGeats Buster. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. And obviously he never used it because all he did was just and he has his own version of the Raising Sword. I think it's just called the XGeats. I think it's just called the Cross Raising Sword. But anyways, of course it doesn't want to work. Obviously, I think his version will just be, it will be Darkness Booster. Dynamite Booster, boost tactical impact. Obviously, Mark III doesn't work. And obviously, Mark III will just be read as Mark III in the Vision driver. So, for basically a toy that has the same amount of functionality as Boost Mark III, we technically should have covered everything, but yet we skimped out on a lot. Because technically the only bonus you get out of this is a core ID, unless you got the China exclusive set that had the desired driver and Boost Mark III. Again, I don't, like, this thing is collectively Boost Mark III. So I'm not going to call it Boost Mark 9. They only called it Boost Mark 9 because it's separate. But, and plus when you combine it together, it's Mark 3, so. But, you know, basically, yeah, there's not much to talk about with the XGeats buckle, but there's nothing bad about that, though. Because it's basically what you expected. This toy is the sheer example of, if you already own the original one, then, like, you know what to expect. They didn't change anything. They didn't add anything. It's just the same thing. Just in a new color scheme and with the core ID. And there's nothing wrong with that. And such. Like, this is a perfectly fine toy. Like, I feel like this is just kind of the most mundane I've been with, like, covering a toy, which obviously is not good, because technically we should be critical about, like, some certain aspects about it. You know, I feel like the only thing I'm kind of critical about is that I don't understand why they made the insertion sound black out. It's cool, but it's not consistent. But other than that, like, it's what you expect out of Geats 9? But in a different color scheme, in a new soundboard. what more is there? if you've already enjoyed the Boost Mark III race buckle, you're gonna have fun with this one. And that's, I have to say, like, basically at this point, it's just the preferences on the color scheme and the sounds. So if you're not too big on the color scheme nor the sounds, then like you don't need to get it and such. Especially because I think this toy is actually in the same boat as Geats 9 or Boost Mark 3, where this is actually kind of difficult to obtain and such. I think this thing goes for 60, which I think is too much, personally. I think this goes for like 60 or 80, and I think that's asking for too much. If Tokollectibles still has it, I just recommend for you to go get the Chinese release, or heck, try to find the bootleg version. Like, just try to find a version of this toy that's like $40, because that's what this toy should be. It shouldn't be more than that. Especially, again, because if you already own it, if you already own Mark III, then you're going to expect the same thing. But as I will reiterate once again, that's not a bad thing. I'm running out of time, so what to do with this review, this is right now leaving people. This is the most uneventful review. Not of today, just in general.